on the set in 3, 2, 1, going live.
All right, everybody. Hey, this is going to be a great show. I'm Mel Craig.
Hey, I'm Don Ramsey.
And welcome to episode number 21 of HB Unplugged. This is going to be cool because we're all four here really involved in the 4th of July parade. And that's really what this is about, is the 4th of July parade weekend coming up in 3 weeks, a month from now. So I thought, why don't the four of us get together, especially with Ed and the bike parade, and Dawn being sitting on the chair. Well, of course, you sit on every chair and every board. So I thought we'd cover
Not all of them, but a lot of them.
What I'd like to do, you guys, is cover the entire event.
Yes.
Like from start to finish, when it starts, all the different things involved, because it's going to be, in fact, Ed's now part of the 4th of July parade, so that's part of the event as well. So let's rock.
What you got?
Let's go. Okay, so it starts Thursday, right?
Thursday.
The event?
No, well, Friday. Yeah, the bike parade's on Saturday the 5th.
Okay.
The parade is on Friday the 4th.
Okay.
So,
But isn't there stuff going on Thursday too?
No.
Oh, no. Okay.
No. So the live music starts right after the parade. In fact, the Ramsey brothers are going to play down at the big
plug there
on the big stage before the fireworks. I think we go on stage about 4:00 and play for an hour or
before
so.
Redneck Rodeo.
Yeah. No, that's on
Saturday.
Saturday, the day before.
The day before, okay.
Or the day after the parade is the block party.
Right.
And then we open up for Redneck Rodeo. I think we go on at 3 and we play till like 4:30. And then Redneck Rodeo comes on and they play from 5 to 7.
Okay, so
they had an amazing turnout last year, by the way.
So first off, guys, this is hot. We're in the parade. HB Unplugged has got Don's got us set up on a VW truck.
Oh, no way. That's cool.
Oh, yeah.
Don's actually in another float. So this is so cool, you guys. I'm having a cardboard cutout made of Don. So
it better look like me.
It'll be a picture of you, and it'll be you waving like this, and he'll be on each side of the truck halfway. So there's Don. We got Don with us, but it'll be Rick, Alejandro, and I in the float, and we'll have our headsets on. We'll have Alejandro set up a speaker, and we'll just talk. We'll just talk to the crowd as we drive by. But here's the cool thing about 4th of July. So it starts Friday. The coolest thing about waking up Friday morning is PCH is closed all the way to Beach.
Oh, yeah.
And so everyone's on their bikes, the marathon. So let's kind of get into this.
Yeah.
So first thing is that happens is everybody starts hanging out because the streets are closed and everybody can ride their bikes around.
Yeah.
The marathon is the big event.
Yeah,
first
that's
thing in the
huge.
morning.
No, well, yeah, I think it's an 8K run. It's not a marathon. But also we're going to put 47 VW buses in the two parks, 22 buses in Lake Park, and then across the street at Farquhar Park, we're going to put 25 buses, so a total of 47 buses in the two parks during the 4th of July parade.
And that's at Lake and 12th. It's both parks on each side of
Each
side of Maine.
Yeah, so the VW thing's going to be happening there, and then we're going to put some buses in the parade as well for the Huntington Beach International Surfing Museum, the Surfing Walk of Fame, NSSA, and then the Huntington Beach Board Rider Club. All those four happenings that happen here in Huntington Beach, they're going to be in the 4th of July parade. And then, like you were saying, Unplugged, HB Unplugged is going to be in the parade as well.
Yeah, and he had a couple of ideas to have a couple of girls carry a banner in front of the bus.
Absolutely, yes.
So that when we're going to people, it says HB Unplugged. It's going to be cool.
Yeah, that would be a good idea, of course.
Don Ramsey's going to be, he has the North Huntington Beach boys and girls?
Yeah, NHB Football Club.
Yes.
So I'm going to be in a big flatbed donated by HB Propane. And then my grandson's team and Stacy from our consultant for the 4th of July parade.
Stacy Newton.
Her daughter's team is going to be on the bus or on the truck. I think we got like 20 premier soccer players that are going to ride in the truck, and I'm driving the truck, so I'm pretty stoked.
Yeah. But don't worry, we're going to have Don, cardboard cutout, on the bus with us.
Hopefully that's not the one driving.
We'll have Don
It'll be a little
that ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, we'll have Don behind the wheel on that. Yeah. So let's talk about the run. So it's an 8K run. I always thought it was a marathon. It's an 8K run.
Yeah,
and there's there's adults and kids. Right?
I really can't remember.
Yeah.
But and I should. I'm part of the 4th of July executive board, but Stacy kind of takes care of that, and one of a couple of our other board members. My main thing is really, and I don't really need to talk about it, but I have other duties before the parade even happens that I help with.
To get it all set up.
Yeah, the day before, and then just during the week, a lot of stuff that I do.
And the day of, you'll see him walking around with a neon vest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As if he's not doing anything, but he
Right.
is the one behind a lot of this stuff.
Right.
And, a lot of people don't know. How big is the 4th of July parade?
Well, there's between 600,000 and 800,000 people on parade route. It's the biggest parade west of the Mississippi.
Yeah.
And it's definitely something that people look forward to every year.
Oh, that's going to be
And,
so cool. By the way, did I tell you guys? HB Unplugged is going to have its own float, and we're going to be in the parade.
So
you
this
are?
and it's live.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It's live on ABC TV. By
Oh,
the
that's
way.
what I was going to say. There's
Yeah.
a couple coverages. I know Matt Liffering covers it for
That's local. That's
Yeah,
Huntington
Channel
Beach.
3.
Yeah,
But-
Channel 3.
But ABC has a full.
big booth.
Yeah, they have a whole team out there, and they do a great job every year.
Well, this was cool because Stacy sent me this application for HB Unplugged, and I got to write what they're going to say about HB Unplugged and the float coming down, and they announced that as we're driving by.
They
So,
do.
Yeah,
They-
give
they-
a good shout out.
Yeah, they kind of cut it down too because they're saying so much. But the main points of what the, whoever they're talking about, is made. They do a good job of that, but at the same time, they don't put everything that you'd like them to say because there's
They
there's so
cut it short.
much.
Happens
Well,
real fast.
that's what Stacy said. She said keep it as short as you can to cover your information, but keep it short because then they'll say everything you want. But if
Yeah.
you go too long,
Yeah,
they're going
yeah.
to cut it down.
Yeah, they do.
So I
But
just kept it
still.
real short.
Yeah.
Mel
All right.
and Don driving by in a parade. He's in a cardboard cutout. Say hi, Don. I'll have to
right.
do this with the cardboard cutout. Don.
All right. Well, I'll make sure my family and friends know that that's not me really.
Yeah, they'll know.
Yeah.
I'll be sure to say it on the mic.
But I think-
so. The parade actually starts at what time?
The parade starts officially about 10:30.
Yeah, 10:30. The actual floats and everything
Yeah.
starts coming down the street.
Right.
Right.
And when does it end?
It ends roughly about
2?
1:30.
1:30,
It's
so-
about 3 hours long.
Yeah. And how many people are actually in the parade? You guys know?
Well, they line it up. I mean, it's different.
Yeah.
It's different every
It's
year.
hundreds.
It's-
They line up
Oh, yeah.
on PCH all the way to
It's
Golden
at
West.
least it's at least 100 entries.
Yeah.
But this year we're going to honor the the Navy, the Marines, the Army, the Air
Oh,
Force.
wow.
Those are the main things
That's gonna be
because
cool.
the Army turns 250 years
Yep.
old. I think in the first week in July or something
Yeah.
like that.
And,
But,
and Mike Ali from Zach's is going to be recognized this year. Is he?
Yeah, he's the community grand marshal.
Oh, so
Yeah.
he's the Grand Marshal.
Right.
Oh, good.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Right.
But Bailey Turner's going to be our sports grand marshal. I think they're calling it something different.
Yeah, I
but
noticed last
she's
year there were
such a
several
great-
Grand Marshals.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Every year there is. Bailey Turner, Ryan Turner's daughter from
Sugar Shack.
She's
In
a-
fact, his brother is going to be inducted in the Surfing Walk of Fame this year as one of our inductees.
Oh, wow.
No,
Yeah.
that's
So that's the deal. Not
Ryan Turner.
yeah, his brother.
No, Timmy Turner.
Not Timmy. No, Ryan Turner. Timmy's
Yeah.
with Sugar Shack. I'm talking about Ryan Turner. He's
That's
been
who I'm
inducted.
saying.
Oh, I thought you were talking
That's
about Timmy.
No, that's Bailey's dad.
Yeah.
So we're inducting him in the Surfing Walk of Fame. That's correct.
So the Friday is going to be the whole show's 4th of July, Friday. Then Friday after the 4th of July festivities and the parade's over, then we're going to have music at the Ramsey
Down
Brothers
at the
Band.
pier. Yeah.
What's taking place
we're one
down
of the.
besides the music? Besides you guys, is there more music?
Oh yeah, there's a few other bands.
Okay.
There's one or two on before us, and then we come on, and then I think there's one after us,
Yeah.
and then they do the
Fireworks show.
But
Oh yeah.
It's
And the street stays closed the whole time.
oh
Yeah.
yeah. Let me tell you, I've done it before, and to be up on stage and to see that many people,
Oh, it's got to be cool.
it is incredible. I mean, the block party's a pretty big event. Believe me, I don't want to take nothing from that. That is insane too. But being down on the showmobile, looking up at Pier Plaza and on the Huntington Beach Pier and how many people there are is
There's not a blade of grass.
Yeah.
For everybody
Yeah.
watching, Pier Plaza is actually the park area and the seating area on the north side of the pier.
Right.
that's correct.
So it's right there where all the buses were last week. Which, by the way, was
In between
big shout out for the Ramsey sitting here and his
Cowabunga
Cowabunga Van Clan. It was a tremendous event on Sunday with all those buses. I mean, it was. I think it was a record breaker, and I think it was the best out of all the shows.
Yeah, so far I would say that's the first time people had to shuffle down the pier.
Oh, yeah, it was
and
very-
it was like that all the way down the
it was-
pier.
yeah.
And it started at 8, and it started getting packed at 8, and it by 9, I would say from 9 to 3, it was
Shuffle.
unbelievable.
Yeah, shuffle.
Don, why don't you share what happened? There's several businesses on the pier that had the
Oh,
most
yeah.
sales they've ever had.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah, the kite store, Dave Shankman that owns that called me up and told me, out of all the events he's done while he's had that store, and it's been like 20 years, it's his biggest day of sales ever. And if you think about how many times the U.S. Open or the
air show.
Air
the
show,
air
the
show,
volleyball, all of
just
them.
every big event that's happened, you would think, well, yeah, somebody's done more, but it was his biggest day. He's been reaching out to me, and I gotta get back to him. He's going to take me out to dinner,
Oh, that's
butter
All right,
me up, and thank me, I guess. But yeah,
well, going back to 4th of July. So Friday, that all happens, and then what happens Saturday?
Saturday is the bike parade that starts at 11:30.
Yeah, we'll be leaving Huntington Beach High School.
Yeah, Yorktown, and
So your stress starts about now, right?
My what?
Your stress.
Well, it started a little while ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, it starts at 11:30.
My
and
suggestion:
we'll be
you
leaving
start
there.
drinking heavily.
Yeah. I'm like, oh gosh. No, but yeah, it starts at 11:30. Nice little neighborhood bike cruise. Just happens to be a little large, and yeah. So we'll be leaving 11:30, getting downtown probably around noon. It takes around 20, 25, 30 minutes to get there, and then from there I'll have 5, possibly even 6 bands in different establishments there, and they'll be starting right off the bat. So we can have everybody will just be able to come downtown, enjoy it, have a nice day, have bands wherever they want to go. Different types of bands. We're gonna have everything. We're gonna have reggae, classic rock. We're gonna have country and all that. And then by the time that we all end, is when world famous Ramsey Brothers
Yeah,
start.
then that starts. But let's go back to the bike parade because it's important. So everyone meets at a certain location. Go ahead. Let's.
Yeah, we are going to meet basically in front of Huntington Beach High School, the city hall right there on Main Street.
Utica,
And
Maine.
we're gonna what's that?
Utica, Maine, right?
But wait a minute, wait. You make it sound so simple.
Yeah, God.
You got to keep in mind, it's about 20,000 people on bikes. It's not just a few thousand. It's at least 20. It's obviously going to be bigger this year.
But for those that don't know, this guy's very, very humble because let's talk about the roots and the origins of this, right? If you go back to 2020 and California,
Pandemic.
Newsom shut down the Huntington Beach Parade, said you guys can't do it or you can modify a couple things, which was really not having it at all.
Ridiculous.
And then this guy named Ed Romo right here decided to say, you know what? No, we're a patriotic city. We're going to do our own thing.
Yeah.
And so Ed put out a flyer and it went out. And the weirdest thing is, I think it started like at 10 or 10:30, but like 15 minutes before it was a start, it was like no one was there yet. And then out of the woodwork, people came from everywhere.
So Ed calls me on the phone and says, hey, because I promote and stuff. He goes, hey, can you help me promote this? And what is it you're doing? He says, well, I want to have, some locals show up on bikes at the park and I have a little route we'll take and we'll just cruise, do our own little parade, I said, well, Ed, we might get in trouble. We're not supposed to do that. But he kept saying, okay, Ed, I'm with you. We'll buck the system. Hell, fuck it. We'll just do it. So
Even though Mel's a little bit shy, I needed somebody to talk to.
Yeah, bike parade morning, I show up and all of a sudden I get there and there's 8 people. 8 of us. And I go, this is cool. Hey, we knew each other. Hey, how's it going? Yeah, great. And then, then pretty soon there's 12 people, then 15 people. And then all of a sudden there's 100 people. And then all of a sudden there's 400 people. And all of a sudden there's 500 people. And I get the phone call from, remember our old chief of police, Rob Handy.
Andy.
So Rob calls me. not happy. What is going on? I understand you're part of this. What's going on down there? And I go, hey, Ed Romo's in charge. I'm just here to help him. And I said, he goes, are you having problems? I said, yeah, it's kind of out of control. And I've got this. I went to the park and there was an orange cone. You know the orange cones they put out for traffic? Yeah. I picked one of those up and I was using it to get everybody off the street. Mm-hmm. And he goes, all right, you're not supposed to do that. You know, he gave me the riot act. and I'm like, in the second year, Don was involved in that.
I remember Don was trying to get everybody off Main Street too.
Don and I got the brunt of it the second year because you were late. But anyways.
Well, year one ended up being over 1,000 people.
Oh, yeah, it was huge.
Yeah, the first one was over. They said about 1,000.
Ended up being gigantic. Everybody wanted something to do because everything was closed.
Year 2, about 6,000.
Yep.
Year 3, about 10,000.
Yep.
Year 4, about around 15,000.
Yeah.
Last year, pushing 20,000.
Yeah.
And it's now considered the biggest bike parade in the United States.
Well, I was Googling 4th of July bike cruise to see who had the biggest one in the United States. So I'm like, I'm just kind of curious. You know, it's like anything. I'm sure Don with the buses and stuff does the same thing. Like, who's the biggest? Thinking I even asked you one time, who's got the most? But yes, I Googled it, and then it shows on Huntington Beach. And I don't know where they found this stuff. It's where I was interviewed.
Yours?
Yeah, so it's Huntington Beach. Us locals have the biggest bike cruise, and then it said it had the interview on LA Times for me. I don't know where they got that, and the Orange County Register when they had interviewed me, and it was like, I'm looking through this stuff going, wow, I didn't know this. Who is this guy? What city is this from? But it was, So,
you know, and the coolest. You know what the coolest thing about the parade is now? He's got so much support. Number one, but another thing is now the police are involved, and they go. We have an escort now. We have. He's got. I mean, you've organized it so well.
Yeah, and the streets are blocked off. That was one of the main things that the city wanted to get involved with. And I'm speaking for them right now because I've been asked and in meetings about it, and they were concerned. So if we go back in time, and I don't know how many years ago this happened, but when the guy in Las Vegas was up in the hotel and shot all those people, killed like 50 people or something.
My son was there,
Homeland Security said from now on, every major event, they're going to have certain criteria if you want to have a big event, and that fell on the shoulders of the 4th of July parade, and which really, I mean, the city doesn't pay for all that security. It's the 4th of July that pays for all that security, and we're talking undercover marshals and sharpshooters and everything that happens to keep the parade safe. And part of the parade, keeping it safe, is blocking off all the streets so no one in a car can come and attack people. Unfortunately, that's just the way things are. So when the bike parade started to get so big, the city said, look, we want Ed to have it. We know it's part of the culture and it's part of the festivities here, but we got to keep it safer. You know, heads are going to roll. And not Ed, but I'm just talking about the city's not going to, they're going to get in trouble if they don't protect the people. So because the bike parade's gotten so large, we've required now the bike parade to go down Main Street with all the streets closed off from all the barriers that are put up for the 4th of July parade. And that way we get,
two birds with one stone.
Yeah, exactly.
And this thing grew so fast that by 2023, they called Ed and said, hey, you need a permit now and you need insurance now.
Yeah.
And I had the privilege of going with Ed down there, and we met with the city and had all that. We got the support that was needed. And they said, hey, we want to bake this into the 4th of July budget. Because otherwise it was like $15,000 to do it independently or a la carte.
No, it's about $25,000 to put the barriers up.
They said 15 and 23 it's went up.
Yeah, it's $25,000.
What is the cost of the parade? About
the parade cost is about $250,000.
Wow, unreal.
You're gonna have to get a second job.
That's friggin' yeah. By the way, I didn't share this with you guys. HB Unplugged is in the parade this year.
No way. I would have never known.
Don's got us set up on a VW bus truck. I'm so excited about that, guys.
Oh, my
I'm
gosh.
sorry. I've never been in a parade. I've never
like
been in a
that.
parade, so I'm in a parade. I'm all happy. Rick's in a parade. Alejandro's going to be on there with us. And a cardboard cutout of Don will be sitting there.
Ooh, I like it.
You know what's so fun though when you see
once the bike parade is over, everyone gets down there. I always like that because at the end I always grab the mic and I thank everybody.
Yeah.
As they come in, I wait for like maybe a couple hundred people to go by, and then I'll say it again. Hey, welcome! Thanks for joining us for the bike parade. And everybody's hooting and hollering. It's fun. I like that part. Yeah.
I love it. When I'm there at the beginning, it's it's kind of weird. I love just watching the families. You watch the families get together, and they're just the love you feel that's in the air from everybody getting together. And even Don, this is probably the busiest man in Huntington Beach that I know of any city.
He is.
Anywhere. And, I told him before, and he's helped me a little bit along the way, but it's like, one thing I told Don, I go, she's like, dude, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? This guy. And I'm like, you know what I want you to do?
Is
And
relax.
if I remember that, I go, I want you to take one day, and this one day, I don't want you to do anything. I want you to be able to, I don't even think this guy sleeps in. I don't even think he sleeps.
Yeah.
But basically,
I get
I'm
up
like,
early every day.
yeah, I go, just take this one day, get your family together, come down, and do absolutely nothing.
It
Just
is
go
cool
for a bike
because
ride.
you're right. Because every bike ride, when I'm riding around, talking to everybody on the mic, he's all into his bike and he's got his flag on his bike and he takes
Yeah.
off and cruises with us.
Yeah.
It's like your first free day of hey, fucking, I don't have to do anything, Aaron. I just get to ride my bike.
I don't even know how we snuck that in without him being able to, be a part of it from the beginning. But he did help a lot at the beginning. My very first meeting with the city was through Don.
Yeah.
So he had me over there was I think Chris Cole.
Chris
was-
Cole
Chris.
was specific event supervisor.
He was the event supervisor back then. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was our first meeting with them, and then it just kind of went from there. But it did go really, really fast. I mean, the first one when I put that flyer out was 7 days before. So the weekend before, I think it was on a Sunday that I had posted, on one forum, one time about the bike cruise, and 7 days later,
Yeah,
all of a sudden
I
get
posted
there.
a little bit too, maybe a little
Yeah.
too much.
But yeah, it was over 1,000 people within 7 days. So it was pretty, crazy.
So then after the bike parade and all of Ed's extravaganza and the bands and stuff like that, second half of Saturday is
The Ramsey
the
brothers.
Ramsey Brothers and
Yeah,
and
we
Redneck
opened up for
Rodeo.
Redneck Rodeo.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And so what's entailed there?
Well, the city puts up the
Barricades.
showmobile.
Oh yeah.
Where it's backed up to Coast Highway. We're right in between
Street.
HSS and Jack's Surfboard.
Right there at the corner.
Yeah, and they always have a great sound crew working that event. Not that I know the down at the Pier Plaza. That's always a great sound crew as well. But it's just fun to be out there and know so many people. A lot of friends of mine come to that event, and to be able to play and sing and do all these songs that a lot of them know, and
Yeah.
everybody
gets into the Ramsey.
yeah, everybody likes it.
So
And of
Don,
course-
on Memorial Day, Code Ford had the all the sound system there. Are they doing it this time around as well? Because that was phenomenal.
I don't think they are, but I don't really know. I could find out. I know the guy that did it last time, or the crew that did it, they were outstanding.
Sound system was perfect.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
I think it's always been good. Every time I hear anybody
Yeah,
that,
it's
like
good, yeah.
performing,
Yeah.
I go to other places and I'll hear somebody outdoor, and you can, you're like, well, it's outdoor. It doesn't sound that good. And then I come back here and I listen to like you guys and everybody, and it's like, you don't think you're outdoors. I mean, it sounds so good. It's just like,
Well, last year at the front, right by the stage, I think the Ramsey family owned the whole front row.
Yeah, my daughter, my grandkids,
Everybody's
my
there.
wife, her friends.
Yeah,
Yeah,
everyone was there. Yeah. The Ramsey family takes the front row.
It was fun.
I guess you got to be a prerequisite. If you're not a Ramsey family, you can't stand in the front row.
No, it's all good.
Oh, and what happens on Sunday? Anything, or is that the
Sunday's just more of the same, more music all day, and I think we're gonna bring back the festival in the parking lot, but that's not gonna happen this year. I think
it's
gonna
not.
happen next year, because next year,
Is that with the
Is our-
the Ferris wheel and all that stuff? Or you mean?
yeah, but next year is I think it's our 120th year or 125th year or something like that.
Can you believe that, everybody? This has been going on 120 years, this parade.
Yes.
That's it.
But
you shared a lot of stories about you growing up as a kid. It was your favorite day.
Oh yeah, it still is my favorite day. Just going. So the parade used to line up on Lake Street. Before there was nothing on Lake Street. There was a few little oil businesses, and it was like a giant eucalyptus tree tunnel. Because there's a lot of eucalyptus trees now, but back in the early 60s, it was all eucalyptus trees. And they used to line up all the, the horses and the bands and the cars and just everything lined up on Lake Street. So as a kid, just riding through there and seeing
on your bike,
everything. Oh God, I just loved it.
Yeah.
I was like 11 years old doing that when the first time. And
was it a Schwinn?
Yeah, probably was.
Yeah, that was the cool thing
with a banana seat.
Yeah, and it was really cool if you had a sissy bar. Yeah.
I think it had a sissy bar.
Yeah.
Hey, one thing Don can share also, because you brought it up, his family has a good, nice location. But what's the rules, Don, where you could set it up, you could chalk off your place? Is it 24 hours in advance?
Yeah, it's 24 hours in advance. That's one of the jobs that I do for the whole event. Right. Is I cut off all the places where people can't mark because we have different dignitaries and TV stations and different things that are going on, the police and stuff like that. I mark off all those spots with these stencils that I have that tells them this is the Huntington Beach, no staking. This area. So I do that like on.
Vendors and people who are working the show.
On Thursday the 3rd, I'll be doing that. I got a couple guys, one guy from the city. We do it with spray chalk now, which is a lot better. Before I was doing it by hand. Oh my God!
What Rick is bringing up is that on Main Street, for everyone watching, on Main Street, what all the families do, all the locals and guests and people, especially the people that live on Main Street, what they do is they, in front of the houses and on the street and on the sidewalks, they can rope off.
Or chalk
off an area and write their name in it the day before.
Right.
The day before it opens up, and that's when you can get down there and you can find your spot and mark it. Back in the Western days, they used to ride across country to race to get their property. It was like a race to Main Street and get your spot so you could watch the parade.
I want to tell you something. So people didn't used to take caution tape and sticks and mark off their spot. And in the early 80s, my brother and me decided to stake off a spot on the green belt across from the high school. And no one was doing it, I swear. I'm not saying I'm the first guy, but
unreal.
As far as I know, me and my brother Jim are the first guys to start staking off spots on Main Street with the yellow caution tape. And then the next year,
everyone's doing it.
Everybody's doing it. Swear.
There you go. Don's another first.
I'm just saying.
And you'll see people showing up 2 days in advance sometimes trying to get their spot.
Oh, yeah, they try.
It's
pretty strict.
We also come by with a water truck, and we clean off the street from people marking their spots before they're
allowed.
They're supposed to. Yeah, the city has a truck. It's not a real actual water truck, but it's got a big tank of water, and we come by and clean it off because we. It's a strict thing, and it's the police that they're the ones that said, look, 24 hours before you can mark, but anything before that's going to be taken off. So
and I try to go down there every year, the day before, and watch people. What amazes me is that everyone gets along. You don't see a bunch of fights. I mean, I've seen a couple little arguments and stuff, but for the most part, everyone gets along. They find their spots. No one's fighting and arguing. Yeah.
For those that don't know, I mean, if you've ever been to a Huntington Beach 4th of July parade, the patriotism here is unsurpassed. It's red, white, and blue. People are enjoying themselves. It's a lot of fun, a lot of barbecues, a lot of parties.
Yeah.
And it's just a real fun place to be. So if you haven't been to the parade,
that's what the Greenbelt is so fun. You see everybody barbecuing and food, and they're just, I love it.
Yeah. And the Kiwanis has the
breakfast. The Kiwanis has a big, John Etheridge has the big pancake breakfast right there off a lake between 11th and 12th Street.
That's on the south side of Main Street in the park, just behind the buses.
Exactly.
You just walk down there, and Kiwanis has a breakfast. Oh, it's unreal. Yeah. You don't even have to leave your house and eat breakfast in the morning because I want to get down there on my bike, to ride around and stuff. And so I go straight to Karen. Come on, we'll just go eat breakfast there.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it.
Wait for the runners to run by.
But this year you're in the parade, so you got to line
Oh
up.
yeah, did I tell you guys that?
You
Did I
got to
tell you guys
line
that?
up
Oh, really?
around 7:30.
Yeah.
You got to you got to be there between 7:30 and 8 and
Yeah.
just kind of wait it out.
Yeah, we'll be there.
I didn't know you were going to be in the parade.
Yeah, did you know
Yes.
that shit? HB Unplugged's in the parade. I should have announced that to everybody. Can't believe I forgot that. That's so
Well,
exciting.
write it down.
Yeah.
HB Unplugged is in the 4th of July parade.
They do that. They want you there early, by the way. You sign in, and then they give you your spot, your number, where you're going to be at.
Oh, yeah.
So everyone lines up where they're going to be when the parade does start.
Exactly, yeah.
So that's why you come in through like Golden West.
Are you going to be in the Surfing Walk of Fame?
That they wanted me, but then you've been asking me to be on the.
You're supposed to be on the float with
on
us.
the float, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, you're supposed to be on the float with us.
So yeah.
Yeah, we need the crew. I got a cardboard cutout of Don. So if anybody wants to know more information, I'm sure visit HB.
Yeah, you can go to Visit HB. We have our own website, the 4th of July.
Oh yeah, that's right. Stacy had me
Yeah.
go there.
You can check it out there.
It's
and don't
HB
forget, we have all different types of fireworks stands that, there's different, like actually the NHB is going to have their own fireworks stand this year. But we have different, groups and charities in our town that set up fireworks stands. So
I think it's
an
important.
opportunity to buy your fireworks from the locals here in
Yes.
Huntington Beach.
Oh, I didn't even know.
And
Yeah.
they pick them. They have like a lottery because everybody wants to be a part of that.
Oh, I didn't know.
But
that.
I think what's so important, you might be able to shed some light on it. RJ Mayer, who owns the Hyatt in
The Mayer family, yes.
the Mayer family, RJ Mayer, they pay for this the fireworks,
They,
the
they
show.
do.
Oh.
They pay
And that's
for the fireworks.
how much
every
do they
year.
spend on that?
This year it was $60,000.
60 grand.
They
for that.
donated.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
60 grand.
Every
Yeah,
year. and
RJ Mayer.
It is a badass 4th of July.
Oh yeah, the firework
extravaganza. It's great. Oh yeah.
Hey, wait, can I tell you a good story about
Yeah.
So back in 1970, I graduated from high school, and my buddy Steve Bennington and me, we go down to Mexico to go surfing. It was like I said, I was right out of high school, and so we go down to San Blas, and we're staying at the Hotel Cologne, which is this little bitty
Hole in the wall.
hotel hole in the wall, but by one of the best surf spots down there in Nayarit called San Blas.
Yeah.
Marichin Bay. So we're down there surfing in Marichin Bay, and we meet these other surfers from the South Bay, and we're talking to them, and we tell them, hey, last night was our last night at the Hotel Cologne. We need a room to stay, and one of the main guys says, well, we're renting a house. You can stay in the house we're staying in. So Steve and I, we surf, and the surf is unreal. The water's real warm and all that. But anyway, so we're hanging out with these surfers, and then a day or two goes by, and then we got to leave. We got to get back to Huntington Beach. And so in the morning when we wake up, the guy who let us stay in the house gets bit by a spider, and his lip is like swollen, insane. And he's talking, the spider bit me, and we're talking to him and telling him, hey, thank you for letting us stay in your house, but we got to go now. Anyway, so we come back to Huntington Beach. Long story short, we take a bus, and then we hitchhike, and we get a guy who drops us off at Ettinger and Beach Boulevard, right off the freeway. And then I call my dad, and he comes and gets us. And this is now in the middle of June, and a few weeks later is the 4th of July parade. And back then, in 1970, the fireworks were still going off at the pier, but there wasn't all the different venues that happen now. So, like, there was us, there was the Coliseum, there was the Rose Bowl, and I don't really remember any other big significant fireworks shows. So Huntington Beach was a big draw, and there would be 10,000 more than 10,000 people on each side of the pier. And I go down there with my buddy Don Lassard, and we're walking on the north side of the pier kind of where the apartments are, but there's so many people that we're trying to find a place to sit and watch the fireworks because they're going to start in the next couple hours. Anyway, I'm walking around and I trip over this guy and I look up and all I see is this lip. It's that him. Guy from
Sam Blanc.
Yes, from the South Bay.
He still had a fat
I
lip.
tripped right over that guy. Anyway, true story.
And he still had the fat lip.
Yeah,
I know
he did.
you.
He still had the fat lip.
Well, that's cool. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. It's all about the 4th of July. It's coming up in less than a month.
Yeah.
Got a lot of activity, a lot of stress. Ed's stressing out. He's got a lot
Doing
to
all
do.
right.
Ed's cool.
Ed's in cruise control now.
Yeah.
He hasn't wired.
Yeah. Well, now he's got a lot of support and help too, so that's good.
So, Ed, just say it one more time. We got to get down there by no later than 11:30. It's later. 11:30 is the time it takes off. People start getting there.
If you get there that late, you're way in the back.
Yeah.
But this time,
and it's a long way in the back. It's
it went all the way to Yorktown.
It's insane.
One of the cool things Ed is doing this year too is he's putting speakers on the center divide, the grass area. So the green belt is going to have speakers all the way up. So now when we talk on the mic, everyone's going to hear us all the way up because he's going to have speakers the whole way.
Kind of like when you go to a graduation at a high school and they have the speakers all along the football field.
So now we can, the message, and we're standing on whatever we're going to stand on to talk on a mic. Now everybody will hear us because the speakers go the whole distance.
Oh, wow.
Because a lot of times when you're talking or introducing people or trying to say a few things, not everybody hears it because you're talking 20,000 bicyclists.
Yeah.
It's way in the back. Yeah. Insane.
It is unbelievable. Last year, I kind of waited right there at Utica in Maine just to see all the bikes
going.
Oh yeah.
After you guys had left and I stayed there, I was there for over 10 minutes while the whole thing passed by me, and I was blown away. I mean,
it's crazy.
Can't believe there's that many people.
Hey, one other side note for Ed. Ed's always been able to recognize veterans.
Yeah.
And we just lost a veteran that was like, I think 105 years old, Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like
Joe Bush.
Joe
Bush.
Bush.
103 is when I think he had just turned 103.
And he's been in every parade that we've had with the bike parade.
Yeah, except for the first one. The first one was unexpected, but yeah.
But he just passed away. So this will be the first one he's not in, right? Yeah.
Wow,
yeah. I invited his grandson who used to bring him, and his grandson would go surfing Bolsa.
Don
all the
Aspinall.
time.
Don Aspinall.
And so he'd bring Joe out there, and at that age, he was still out there with his walker, just walking along the beach and waving at everybody. And, so his grandson would surf. And while he's surfing, Joe would just do his daily walks and come back. And, there was days Joe was like, I really don't want to get out there. And his grandson's out, nope, get up. You're going walking. And so
coincidentally, so Don Aspinall, the grandson, went to high school with Chad Williams' dad at Marina High School.
Oh, wow.
So they went to high school together. So, Mark Williams went to high school with
cool.
Don Aspinall.
It's always been supporting the veterans. The second show up, you always supported the veterans.
Yeah, it's just, it's a lot different. There's so much stuff out there, but what I was exposed to is I really didn't see a lot of stuff for the veterans. And when I started meeting people and knowing, it's like, oh, I'm a veteran. I'm like, wow, and then I'd see, a lot of veterans on Main Street, the older guys walking by with their hats and stuff on. And, I was just, everybody always looks at him and says, hey, thank you for your service, but, I felt like, it'd be nice to do a little more, for veterans. I mean, the veterans, look at Don right here, what he's doing back for our city. And he already did enough just being, in the service. Yeah. And he's going way above and beyond. So for me, it was like, if I can do a little bit for just some of the veterans, just one day, 1 hour, whatever, it'll be great. So I have a medal that they get every pretty much every ride.
Yeah. And Tina, we always got, I'm a U.S. Army veteran, and Tina always gives us the lathe that she makes. That's pretty cool. Those are handmade.
Those are handmade lathes. Tina stays up, and I think she gets one, maybe two girls that help her out to do a lot of this stuff. But, man, she just gets out there, and she is so excited to do stuff. She's like, I want to do this, I want to do that. I'm like, okay, so She always makes the lace for us, and then the medals we have made from one of our sponsors also, and it's like, so now when they come out, you give them a medal, they get their lei, they get a free lunch at Bruno's, and I shuttle them from Starbucks to the front, and then as the parade comes around, we end up at Starbucks. So now the veterans just walk across the street, and then they have a nice little few minutes of us showing our appreciation. So.
Yeah.
I think year one you had red, white, and blue Volkswagen buses, right?
Yeah, he
Yes.
did. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had that since the beginning. I mean, it's red, white, and blue. It's 4th of July. So my biggest focus for that is family. The little kids. I mean, I get out there when we take off, and I try to sit right in the front, in the middle, and give everybody high fives, because you just see it and you feel it. And when you see these little tiny kids coming through, with the little training wheels on, and for me, it's like a memory. I look back, go, man, I remember when my girl was that small, and it's just like, and you see them smiling, and the memories, and the little kids, little boys, this and that, and then grandmas and grandpas with their kids riding, which you rarely do. I mean, none of it. I don't know of anybody that during the year says, oh yeah, let's get the whole family together and go for a bike ride. So this is one time that they all get together.
With the entire community.
Yeah, with the whole community. And I think that's why it's kind of expanded, is because it has nothing to do with anything except for family and love, and then we go downtown, and it'll always end downtown, because, when COVID hit, we got hit pretty hard downtown, and a lot of people didn't want to go back to Main Street. And they were afraid of different things and stuff. So now I'm like, you know what? It's not like that anymore. People have come and cleaned it up, did this, did that, different businesses, the ones that hung out through the whole thing.
Yeah.
All these events that are going on. I mean, Dawn is out there in the early morning before the sun's even up, doing stuff to whatever events out there, so guys like Dawn are out there making this community incredible, so I get there and I just see it. And, that's the only time I get to see all the love at that time. So I love giving high fives, and it's really crazy to think of how many people I mean, I can only imagine Dawn, because all of us have been around here, forever, but it's like, when Don probably sees somebody, oh, hey, how you doing?
Yeah. No matter who we know, Don knows them too.
Yeah, he knows everybody. So it's like, to see all these people, and then people you had never met, oh, that's your husband now, that's your wife, and it's like, you just see a lot of that coming out. And I love it. So I get there in the middle, and that's like, I'll say my time, like for me, because to me, that is just incredible. Yeah, that, and then seeing my daughters, when they're riding with their friends and everything, and their big old proud faces is like, it's incredible.
That's our dad running it. Well, one of the things I do want to do, Don, because there's so many people involved in creating this event, the way it's been created.
Oh yeah.
And we should give our hats off to let's dedicate this episode to all the people, like Don and Stacy that put their heart and soul to make this event what it is.
Yeah, our executive
120-year-old
director, Andy does a fantastic job. And then we have our little crew that puts on so people decorate their house, and they have this competition, and the two ladies that do that, Allison Stevens and Lisa Marie, they put their hearts into that, and it's really cool to see them do what they do, because
they deserve the recognition.
Yeah.
And a pat on the back to all of them for
Yes.
Don and all your whole crew that puts this together.
Right on.
Makes it great for all of us. Well, that ends the episode. Thank you guys for joining me. And by the way, if I haven't told you, HB Unplugged is in the. We're in the parade. Thought I had to throw that out. I'm Mel Craig.
Don Ramsey.
And welcome and thank you for joining us for this great episode. Awesome. Yeah, man.